Hello, in today's video, we're going to be reviewing the one and only Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. This album was released in 1973 and could be one of the best albums ever made. So, is it the best album ever made? And if so, what makes it the best album ever made? So first of all, I'll give you a little backstory on the band Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd released their first album in 1967, The Piper at the Gates of Dawn, with their frontman, Syd Barrett. Unfortunately, Syd Barrett left the band a few years later. Not after their first album, but a few years after the band was formed. Syd Barrett was obviously replaced by David Gilmour, one of the best guitarists probably ever. So is Dark Side of the Moon the album that made the band known? Well, they obviously were popular before Dark Side of the Moon, but this album really launched them to the top of the charts. So the first track on the album is actually Speak to Me, but some people combine Speak to Me and Breathe in the Air to make the same song. But you notice with a lot of the songs on this album, most of the songs kind of form into one long song in reality. But the album opens, I'll say in this case, the album opens with Breathe in the Air and kind of sort of sets you in the mood for the album experience. On the Run is probably my least favourite song on the album. Doesn't mean it's bad though, it's just rather random with car crash noises, like something to do with an airport. I think the lady that you hear if you listen to the song talks about an airport or like luggage bagging. Now, apart from the loud intro, which is extremely loud, Time is one of the best songs ever made, and it sort of tells you the story of life, really. Not life in a way, in a sense that you'd probably think. Listen to the song, then come back to this video. A Great Gig in the Sky, you probably have heard this before on TikTok or some other social media platform, but this was written by the keyboard player, Richard Wright, and it's a really good song with really good vocals. Money sort of sums up the economic situation of the 70s. I'm probably really far off by that. I believe this is one of the best songs on the album, if not the best song on the album. I don't know what it is, but the saxophone playing and the lyrics are really meaningful. Again, listen to the song. Again, why are you watching this if you haven't listened to the album? But I really recommend doing it. It's one of the best albums I've ever made. Now, Any Colour You Like, sort of, it's instrumental, sort of has a trippy feeling while listening to it, and it makes you feel like you're on, DURGS. Now, Brain Damage, the penultimate song of the album, which sort of ties in with the last song, Eclipse, is strange. It references the title of the album, Dark Side of the Moon, in the lyric, I'll see you on a dark side of the moon, which is one of the best lyrics on this album, which I'll probably be naming this video after. We end the album with Eclipse, which is one of the best album ending, or if not the best album ending of all time, because it sums up the whole album in less than a minute. No, less than 2 minutes probably. Right, now we've skimmed through the track list, let's talk about the album cover. Now this album cover, you've probably seen it in your school sketchbook or something. So this album cover was made by Hypnotis. I probably said that wrong. But it's, again, one of the most iconic album covers ever. Now if we turn the album around, it is literally the same thing, but just upside down and maybe a little bit more degraded. So here, now, I'm going to tell you some facts about the album. So the first fact is, if you actually play Dark Side of the Moon from the start, it syncs up with the famous movie, The Wizard of Oz. Now, again, I'm not too, sure in what way it syncs up, but I know it syncs up with Wizard of Oz. I've not tried it yet, but I might give it a try. Another fact is Dark Side of the Moon is one of the best-selling albums of all time, with over 50 million copies sold. Overall, I haven't really explained what makes it such a great album, but I've sort of hinted through it throughout the track lists and the cover. So the songs, obviously for the time, the guitar work was incredibly different from what we've seen before from earlier Led Zeppelin and obviously Beatles, Rolling Stones, and so it's sort of a new era for music in a way. Pink Floyd's earlier work with Syd Barrett, when you listen to the album, you could obviously sense the weird psychedelicness of the album. Anyways, that's all I've got to say for this video. So if you've watched it to the end, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like the video and subscribe. See you all in the next one.